And we are live. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Leicester have just lost 3-2, and I don't know how to feel. Whatever you think, leave your comments down below. There's just so much to talk about in this match. Both good, both bad. Alex, we're joined by you again. What do we say? Where do we start? How's everything? I don't know.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. I sounded like my parents there, but that's honestly how I'm feeling right now.
You sound like I was gonna say a supply teacher, the Leicester City. Yes, yeah, I see what you mean.
But honestly, that's how I feel. I think we were really, I think not only we were hyping this game up, but you could tell everyone on Twitter was hyping up this game this week. How this was really a key matchup for this season. I think this was the key matchup for the season, especially with how the table is looking. And with everything that happened, off the field, which we'll get into later, and how important this game was, they didn't show up. And when they did decide to show up, it was too little too late. And it's a massive 3 points lost.
It really is, and it's just so weird because you want to criticize them, but at the same time you're like, oh, there's positive things there, there's positive things there, and there's negative. So look, we'll just start on the first half. I think initially it looked quite a good match. I mean, the first 15 minutes, I was like, oh, both teams are playing into the game. Leicester couldn't quite create chances, but we're thinking, okay, we're in this. Then that Lingard goal goes in, and we just go, there's nothing you can do about that, really. I mean, nobody's getting that.
Yeah, and I think that was where, we really lost. That just blew the wind out of our sails. Seeing that goal go in, it just, an already frustrated lineup that we had, you could tell that they were frustrated just right off of the start of the game. Mm-hmm. And then you seeing Lingard score, it just deflated the entire lineup, and it really just, kicked them while they were already down. And, after that goal, not going to lie, I had a bad feeling just after that goal that it wasn't going to be pretty from there on out.
Yeah, it was just such a strange, because again, that one came in and you could have thought, right, okay, 1-0. It's not, we don't want to be on the back foot, but we're still in this game. Let's see what happens. I wasn't too disappointed about the second goal. I was just like, come on, Leicester, you've got Fofana and Evans, both of them just switched off. And you're going, look, we're better than this. We know how to defend. But just everything switched off, and then I'm watching it going, we're 2-0 down now. What can we do? We have to just get into half time. But yeah, for the second goal, I mean, defensively, we were all over the place, and it just wasn't good enough.
No, honestly, the way that I kind of looked at that second goal as if you were playing, FIFA 21, and all of a sudden your controller disconnected. That's what it really looked like. Evans and Fofana just looked like they were hovering. And, it was an open net goal. Like, there was no way that anyone was going to stop that, lack of defense, no one was coming back. It just, as soon as you see that go in, you're like, yeah, guaranteed that was going to be a goal. If you like it or not, it was going in.
Yeah, that's the thing. So anyway, that happens and you're thinking, right, 2-0 halftime. We're still in the game. We're still not creating too many chances, but we're still there and around that opportunity, and West Ham have been incredibly clinical. So let's fix the problems. We took off Amate, we put on Thomas, which I thought was a very strange substitution, to be perfectly honest with you. But I think they will change to a back four, and then immediately within that we are down to third place. We're down 3 goals. Bowen got a goal, not good enough. Again, we just needed to improve. And you think Brendan Rodgers has before in the past come out and gone, right, enough is enough. Like the Brighton game, for example, we were 1-0 down. Let's just get back at them and then and push at them and get yourself together, lads. Come on. And we didn't do it, and we let a third goal in. That was probably one of the most disappointing things as well.
Yeah, because you know what? You're down 2-0. We've seen Leicester come back from those deficits before. So you're thinking, they're going to go to the dressing room at halftime. Rodgers is going to lay into them being like, you guys can do this. Just go out to this in the second half and play your game, play the way that you normally play, and you'll succeed. But, when they came out, they looked absolutely flat. They looked dejected. They just unmotivated. And it showed. And, with Bowen getting, the third goal of the game, just really cemented that, this was not our game today, and which is extremely frustrating because, like I said before, this game, in my opinion, would really separate us. And standings alone, you could see it in the table, would truly separate us from West Ham and the other teams, cementing ourselves in that third position in the table. But now, with this loss, West Ham getting the 3 points, the table is ripe for the picking for any of the teams below us.
Yep, and it was in our grasp once again. I don't want to hammer on too much about that because we'll definitely come on to that in a bit. So if you've got any more thoughts, leave them in the comments down below. Whilst you're there, if you could like, subscribe, all that good stuff, because we're trying to go. But again, Leicester don't make it easy, do they, Alex? We thought, here we go, another problem, another point. Okay, we lost against Man City. Here we go, is an opportunity to get some points against West Ham. Didn't work out. But then again, after about 55 minutes, do you know what? I was thinking, there's part of me, because I'm always an eternal optimist. That's just always the way I am. I was thinking it's just not happening. At least they're having a go. Because, if you compare it to, for example, the Bournemouth game last season, where it was just everything just fell apart and they didn't even attempt to go at a goal. West Ham did sit off a little bit more, but at the same time, we are just going and going and going. And it just wasn't happening at times. You look at until Nacho's goal, then it really clicked into gear. But until then, Marco Brighton, who's Mr. Reliable, his squashes were going flying across. Jamie Vardy was barely having a touch of the ball, and when he was, it was getting nicked out of his feet. We just weren't good. We just wasn't good enough.
No, and I know we're going to talk about this later on as well, but when you're practicing during the week, and practicing set pieces and whatnot, and you have this lineup that you're ready to go in, and at the last moment you have to pull two of those players out of the lineup, it changes everything. And not only does it change how you're going to go into a lineup like this, but it just completely destroys the morale of the team. And I'm not saying that that's the reason why they lost, but in my opinion, that's a huge reason why we saw the way that they played today. The morale was lacking, the discipline was lacking, and just the overall frustration. Plays, and chances that normally any of the players on Leicester would capitalize on, they botched them, and they just looked flat when they could have easily have scored here and there.
Yeah, they should have got an opportunity to go through on goal and take the opportunities. I remember Vardy had one, just kind of pushed it into the ground. Nacho, I thought, okay, it's not going to be his day. We'll come on to that in a bit, but it just wasn't happening anywhere, and there wasn't anything that was really pushing us on. I mean, I'd give credit to Brendan Rodgers for changing it. I mean, the back three just wasn't working. They were carving us open. Okay, sure. Then we put Luke Thomas. I was thinking, oh no, this guy again. He came on, did very well in my opinion. And I've seen a lot of the comments being negative. I mean, yes, we'll be on negative, but I think there's a stay towards the end. We'll definitely get into some of the positives that we can pick up from this as well. However, in this, again, Nacho takes his goal absolutely sensationally. 70th minute, just that goal was sensational. And I was thinking, wow, that I'm glad it happened, and also I'm glad it happened, but just what can you do in that situation? But again, Nacho, sensational goal, and shows even when he's not playing well, which again, he was the only, I think you're going to come into this second, he's the only bright spark in the team, but he gets his goal, and what a goal that was, and what a player he is for us at the moment.
Yeah, you know what? I did mention it before, but I truly believe that Nacho was our best player on the field today, and quite so. He managed to get 2 goals today. But that strike was just absolutely incredible. And I think, for people, that have been saying, maybe this was just a one-off for Nacho, the way that he was playing in March. You see a strike like that, and you can easily say, and like I said, you can take this as a positive. Nacho really has come into his own this season and has developed into a really good striker. And that's something to look at positive.
And also not just a poacher. He's coming back. He's linking play, and at times I think he linked through Ricardo, or Ricardo linked through for the goal. Yeah, of course I'm being positive, mate. That's my joke. That's my thing. If you want to, you can get your internet sorted. Then you can come on here and we'll have a debate. All right. So until then, your comments going away. But anyway, I'm going to try and spin it because there is positive to take. When we came to the Bournemouth game, where we capitulated as much as we did in the first half, the second half, we did the first half in this, we had no positive things to say, in my opinion, because there had nothing positive to say. we didn't say anything positive. In this, there's definitely positive to take. There's definitely mentalities and shifts that were made. I mean, we go back to that 4-2-3-1, and again, kind of changed. Indeed, he seemed to be picking up the ball in the middle of the park. I think West Ham did drop off and let us play our game, which is their fault as well. Like it could have been a much tighter result at the same time. And it was, again, I think there was a few opportunities. I'm just like writing them down now, with like Tielemans' shot that was blocked by a spectacular block by Noble, who ended up going off. Then you had the Ricardo chance for the nearly penalty. Then Vardy had a chance as well, and it just didn't happen. And partly because of that was West Ham's amazing defending. I mean, we'll admit, Alex, they were the better team. They were 100% the better team throughout 90 minutes.
Yeah, West Ham at the end of the day deserved the win. It's quite clear. It's quite simple to say. Leicester decided to wake up way too late in the game and tried to focus in and try to score, in the last 20 minutes. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter which team you're facing against. You need to give it a full 90 minutes. And it didn't happen today. And I will still say unacceptable, especially in a game that is as important as today was.
Yeah, and that's the same thing. But at the end of the day, when things go wrong, it's how you recover for them. Okay, you're 3-0 down, sure, but how do we come back at them? And that's the most important thing. It could have been easy to go, because again, the fourth goal went in, and I thought that was a fourth goal, and throw in the towel. What can you do? But the team steps in it, because you're saying, 3-0 is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. It could have been more. It could have been 4. It could have been 5. It could have been 6. And quite easily, you guys would admit in the comments, it could have been 5 goals. And for that, you have to give Leicester credit for going, right, we're going to shut up shop and we're going to try and attack them. And that can be, there's so many people, again, in the comments that are just trying to willow in self-pity. Oh, we're not getting top 4. Oh, we're not getting this. We're not getting this. Look, it's not as easy as that. Come on, let's snap together. And I'll hold you to them, Ethan, and people, Josh T, and Yeti Boy. I'll hold you to this till the end of the season. If we get top 4, then you got to eat your words. Simple as that. And if we don't get a top 4, cool. Then I'll eat my words as well. I'm not saying that but this is not the time to drop everything and then start crying and throwing your food everywhere like a child. In my opinion, it's time to be real about it. And that's kind of where I've had my little rant, Alex. But I think you kind of agree as well. Even though it was poor today, it was poor at times.
No, I definitely agree. And, don't get me wrong. There's times that I'm extremely frustrated, especially at this time of the season. We should be winning these games. We should be getting 3 points. There's no excuse. But there is still plenty of games to be played. And the top 4 has not been decided. We have come into many games this season expecting, maybe not taking a win or getting any points at all. And, we've come out with, draws or wins when really, clearly, we shouldn't have deserved them. So, there is plenty of time left this season where we can turn it around. And remember, the table doesn't solidify itself until the final day of the season when all teams have played. There's still plenty of time to keep fighting. You just got to remain positive. Yeah, today's been frustrating as you can believe. You just got to remain positive, trust in the club, trust in Brendan Rodgers, because at the end of the day, we can easily turn this around.
Exactly. And I'll just put this up now. Look, the table at the moment, again, West Ham move up to 55 points. The same games played as, again, 31, the same as West Ham. The same as Chelsea on 54. Liverpool have 52. Tottenham still have 1 to play, but if they win, they're on 52 as well. It's not doom and gloom. It's not the end of the world. We're not dropping out of the top 6. We just don't. It's not that doom and gloom, guys. It's not the end of the world. And if you've watched Leicester City for a while, we don't make it easy. Neither does my camera, because for some reason it's decided to come out of focus once again. So we don't. I don't know what's happening, to be honest. Look, things are happening. It's easy to get carried away, and there's a lot of people on Twitter that will be crying their eyes out and stuff. And I'm not going to be one of those people. Not, and as Alex was saying, not until the last game of the season. Again, we're 3-1 up. We could have just backed off. Right, we're back in. And the thing is, I think we have the position now where, again, we get a goal in the 91st minute. Again, they were having a go. They were trying all the way to the end of the game. You can't say after we went 47 minutes, that they gave up, Alex. And that's important as well, to say that you didn't give up. Because look, we're going to lose games. We're not going to win every single game. And we're going to have defeats like this along the way. I think it's inevitable. And at the same time, when these things happen, it's going to go, okay, we're down in the mud. What do we do? And we have a go at them. And we got a goal in the 91st minute. And again, we could have had another. I mean, Wesley Fofana in the last minutes of the game. I'm just thinking, that Fabianski wasn't getting there. You could just get that ball a little bit up the top corner, and that's 3-3. And we're looking at this result very differently.
Yeah, and like I said, we've broken down every game this season, and there's games that we've honestly said we did not deserve to win. Games that I think of as that Liverpool comeback. Mm-hmm. Did we deserve to win that game? Absolutely not. But did we win the game? Yeah. Did we get 3 points from that game? Absolutely.
How were we feeling after that?
Right. Did we deserve 3 points today? My opinion? No, we didn't deserve the 3 points. Did we get the 3 points? Nope. Did we get a draw? Nope. Okay. What's next week? We play Southampton in the FA Cup semifinals. Do you know what we got to do? Look towards that, keep supporting the team, and let's keep going forward because, like I said before, plenty of time left this season.
Yeah, and that's the thing at the moment. We'll have to see. Obviously, coming into the semi-final, we'll preview that later on. Hopefully, I'll have a Southampton fan on. Then we're going to do our show on Thursday, so make sure you tune in for that. Just a selfless plug. And then we've obviously got the post-match stuff for the semi-final then. But yeah, back to the game. Obviously, we've covered the majority of the game. We said it's not good enough. Okay, no problem. Now, we have to get something that the comments been addressing. And it's something that I didn't know when I did the show with Irons United, actually, just earlier. Could you fill us in, Alex? Because to be fair, I'm still not sure exactly what happened. I think I know who it was, but I haven't got the full context. Do you have any ideas?
I'm just going to pull up from what the BBC Leicester Sport tweeted out just a little bit earlier today.
Okay, yes, I saw that. I'm going to see if... Are you able to share your screen? I don't know if you're able to share your screen and show.
I'll just read it off.
Okay, no problem.
So, a Leicester City spokesman said the club has made its expectations around adherence to COVID-19 protocols abundantly clear to all its personnel. It is extremely disappointing, therefore, to learn of a breach. Leicester City, it had a potential to undermine the efforts of club staff to protect the environments in which our team train and play. Appropriate measures had been taken to prevent our team bubbles being compromised. We wholly expect our people to behave in a way that reflects the national effort and the sacrifices made by our communities to control the spread of the virus. Those involved have apologized for their poor judgment. Our response to the matter will be concluded internally.
Yes, and they need to take that responsibility on themselves. It's not easy. I'm not going to be the person that comes into them and goes, "Oh, you should be doing this." Look, this result and you not playing today, you're going to have to hold partly responsible on your heads. Some of them I've been, again, Hamza Chowdhury is one of my favorite players. I've made that public for now as well. However, this is not good enough. And now the team maybe have suffered that. Again, it's not an excuse. The team who started today should have finished off the match. And they did, but they didn't do enough. However, they need to be held responsible. These people that did this COVID-19, but especially with the likes of Soyuncu, going out on international duty and getting corona. That could have been brought in. It could have been a lot worse situations, but they've let again. I don't know if there's 4 of them, but the 4 of them have let the club down. I know that Maddison, Perez, Chowdhury. I don't know if there's any more. However, it's not good enough in my opinion. And with these kind of things, you have to hold the players responsible. But the club have done the right thing and come out and said, this isn't good. They've apologized, sure, but we're going to have to see what happens.
Yeah. You know what? Like, I woke up this morning and I saw the rumors going about on Twitter. And at first I was quite surprised, quite shocked, to be honest. And as I read further into it, just disappointment and frustration, as human beings, we've all had to adapt in this past year to, maintain this virus. And, I think a lot of us have adhered to those rules. And, especially seeing, hearing this and just having people negate the fact that this entire year we've been following these rules, and then having players disregard those rules is quite disappointing. And I will say that especially at this time of the season.
And you know what the worst thing is, mate? Tomorrow, as the time of recording, on the 8th of April, 12th of April, everything starts opening back up in the UK.
And that's huge.
One day is all it was. And I'm looking forward to see my family and this, that, and the other. And we can meet outside people and stuff like that.
Yeah. And you know, coming
so close. We were so close.
And you know what? And coming from someone living in Canada and who is currently in their third lockdown, it's incredibly frustrating because you don't, like, for me personally, I would be, you know, if I could travel, see everybody around the world, around, you know, family and whatnot, you know, travel, whatever. But, you know, here I'm stuck doing what I have to do, you know, and that's extremely frustrating in my own way. But like I said, these players have a responsibility, and what they chose to do, they decided to choose what they wanted to do above the club, their teammates, and the fan base.
Yes.
And that is the thing for me that is huge about that. It's a huge letdown and it's a huge frustration. And in my opinion, it's a slap in the face to the club.
Yeah, and it's a slap in the face to some of the fans as well, which is really disappointing. It's a huge letdown for team, staff, fans. That's the performance. It might have had something to do with it. However, it's not an excuse. And I think that's the case. However, we've covered what we need to do. We've said what we need to say. Now let's just get on to the few fixtures. A lot of people are saying that yes, we've got a few fixtures. However, the next few fixtures, we've got 6 more games, guys. 6 more games to try and secure this. We're still in a good position. We've let that position slip a little bit more. We're going to be honest. However, it's been helped with a couple more. I'll get with a couple more things. Let me just go and get the from the fixtures from the website now. So obviously we've got the Southampton game. We'll come on to that in a bit. Back to the Premier League. We have Thursday, 22nd of April, West Brom. After that, Crystal Palace. I know that I've just seen Mr. I'll bring his tweet up in a second. Mr. Ali from Friday South London TV, who's given us some banter. I mean, we have to take it in this situation, but at least we didn't lose 4-1. Hey, Ali. Southampton v Leicester. Then we have Leicester v Newcastle. Then we come on to the 3 games. So the positions there are looking more promising, Alex, for the Premier League. I mean, we can't get too much at the moment. However, this is the kind of thing where it's important to give that in context and go, look, we have got some winnable results in the Premier League of recent. Doesn't mean that we're going to win them, but there's more pressure on them now. However, the narrative that Leicester City are bottle jobs, I'm not having because we've had a lot bigger squads and a lot. This is the first time we've lost 2 games in the Premier League back to back all season. And one of them is against one of the best sides ever, we said last week, in Man City. So coming into them games, it is going to be tough. However, it does make it a fantastic thing as well.
Yeah, you know what? As a fan of the sport, it is extremely exciting to see the race for the top 4. Now, as a fan for Leicester City, it makes me absolutely terrified and stressed. So I get both, I get 50-50 pretty much.
400 subs, if you could. Thank you very much. Shameless plug. Thanks, Nandes. We would love to do some work with you in the future. I'll be in touch.
But when you say moving, when you look at, the fixtures coming up, especially in the Premier League, because we do have Southampton next weekend in the FA Cup, which is a whole different story. But when you look at the games coming up in the Premier League, we face West Brom, Crystal Palace, Southampton, and Newcastle. Those are the next 4 games.
Exactly.
Those 4, I will say this, and I could be kicking myself, are all winnable games.
Yes. And if you look at the type of teams that have messed us up this season, we're looking at the likes of Everton. We're looking at the likes of Wolves. We are looking at the likes of West Ham as well, to be honest. These teams just outside the top 6 that aren't going to give us space. They're not going to go, no, we're not going to sit back on the counter. Like a top 6 people go, we're Arsenal. We're going to sit back on the counter, and then we end up winning. I know we lost the last game. However, these kind of results, these kind of teams, we're not really playing at the moment. We've got players that we can bash them over. Could we? Potentially. However, in my opinion, we have to concentrate on that. This result is done and dusted, and I don't want to hear bottle jobs because we've done a lot better with a lot worse squad. And in this case, there's definitely some positives to take for that, because there's definitely positives I want to take as well from this, because It's not the best result, but the way that we went about the second half, and after, it shouldn't have taken 70 minutes, sure, but it did. And at 70 minutes, we're 3-1 down. Cool. Oh, sorry, from 47 minutes, we're 3-1 down. But we were like, right, we're going to give them a go now. Should it taken that long? Sure, but that time is done. That time has passed. We can't do anything. So let's have a go. Let's have a go. And at times it was frustrating, but there's only positives to take from this because that's the person that I am. I wouldn't be supporting this club if I just want to be down in the dumps. I would support look, a lot of fans, and I want to go off on this. I've been watching Leicester City since I was, again, we finished 13th once in the Championship, and I thought that was okay. We weren't dragged into a relegation fight year after year. The club have taken us up and up and up to an amazing position. Today, the positives need to be taken. Luke Thomas came on, did a good job. Mark Albrighton, Liam's just put, again, Mark Albrighton did a good job today. Kelechi Iheanacho got 2 goals today. That is a good thing that we need to point out. And I don't know where I was going with this, but I thought I'd have a go. Ricardo, we saw glimpses of this old Ricardo that we used. Remember that when he nicked the ball of Matsuwako, played it, and he finished it fantastically, Kelechi Iheanacho. We're seeing these players just there, and the hunger is there. And that's what I want to see at my team. If they throw in the towel, I will 100% criticize. Go, why did you throw in the towel? We're 3-0 down. Shut up shop. Don't do. We went and played, and that's important in my opinion.
2 things I will say. 1, I will echo what you said about that's accurate. But I will echo what you said. Leicester City are in the Premier League. Let's celebrate that to begin with. Because we've talked about it many a times where we've cheered them on in championship as well as League One. We're in the Premier League and we're in the top 4 still. I want to highlight that we are still in the top 4 right now.
The only team still in the top 4,
right?
Out of all of them.
Yeah.
Again, there's enough people writing us off. We don't need to write ourselves off.
So that's the first one I want to say. The second is when we were last season at this point, if we were down 3-0, that would be the end of the game. There would be no comeback. They would never end 3-2. We'd probably lose 5-0. Let's be serious about this. We all know this is true. The fact that we came back and the game ended 3-2, we were close to tying it up.
Yeah.
That's a statement in itself from last season. We are not the same club that we were last season. Huge thing, in my opinion, that's what I truly believe. Finally, this is my third point I want to bring in. Last season, when we were declining, semi right off the side of a cliff, just absolute chaos, pain, the Will Smith gif meme and all that, we had injuries left, right, and center that they weren't coming back for that season. Like, we knew that they were written off for the end of the year. That was it. This season, completely different. We know we have Barnes coming back. So Yunus is coming back. He just has COVID right now. These 2 players, you're going to start throwing them in the lineup. Today, was our bench looking a little rough? Yeah, but on most days, it's not as rough as it normally looks. We have players coming back that are going to be fit for the end of the season, whereas last season, we had a very horrible bench with the amount of injuries. So you have to pick out the positives in times where it's really tough to do so, because I truly believe the mentality and what happened last season and how we just fell off a complete cliff. They're going to look at this game and be like, not this time time around. We're going to do this. Let's come out guns blazing next game. Let's keep doing it, because we, as Ethan said, it's in our hands.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to rely on any other result. If we go out each game and we deliver 120%, every time, and we come back with 3 points, maybe a draw here and there, that will define the season. Because at the end of the day, the teams behind us have less points than we do with the same amount of games played. So every game that we go into, we determine how those points will be added on into the table. So at the end of the day, that's it.
And this is a great point from Harley as well. If we can kick out complacency, we'll be a force, I think so, for the rest of the season. It's fantastic to see, and we've got different formations, different way of playing with Dennis Pratt coming back into the team now as well. You can play a midfield time and you can play 2 up top, and that's kind of what we did, but it didn't quite work out. We've got different people, and you're going to think about Dennis Pratt, Maddison, Perez all going to be fighting for one position. Then you've got likes of, if they don't do anything right, you've got Leshibella, you've got Thanawat Chichijuwong just sitting on the bench. Oh, I really want to see have at least a cap like Leshibella did. So it's one of those things at the moment where, again, the reason why I don't want to bash this team too much, there's going to be too many people from the mainstream media bashing our team. In my opinion, too many people are going to go, Leicester doing what they're doing. And it's a cheap narrative. It's almost as cheap as saying Leicester City are a counter-attacking team at the moment. We can, but we can also do other things. But it requires no analysis. It requires you just look at it and go, okay, here's a snap judgment. When in life, it's more complicated than that. And I think, again, we're going to have to put out some good comments as well. There's been so many great comments that I think I've changed Ethan's mind. So thank you, Ethan. I appreciate that. And just get another quick plug. Thank you, Glenn, again. Make sure you follow us on social media. We've posted some interesting comments and make sure to subscribe because there's going to be some interest. We're going to have a great end to the year, to be honest. So we're going to have to go on from that. However, Glenn, and again, one of our favorites. If you've not checked out the preview, you can make sure to check that out. It's a little bit less relevant now. However, it's April. We're still top 4 and FA Cup final. Exactly. We move on, we move up, and we take this performance into the next game. As in, take the end of the performance into the next game. Do you not think Brendan Rodgers is going to be having words with them at the moment? Do you not think that Brendan Rodgers is going to be, no, that was okay. He might be like those in the media, but he's fuming. You should have seen him on the side of the pitch. He was not happy. And he's not going to throw players under the bus like a Jose Mourinho will do, but he will go, this isn't happening. It'll be interesting to see how he handles the COVID situation as well. I remember he dealt with the Hamza Chowdhury and Ben Chilwell about last January when they were getting a bit too mouthy. He left them out of the squad. Again, we have to give Brendan Rodgers credit. He could have gone, kind of when Morris threw his little hissy fit and Claude went, you can still start the next game because we need you. He could have done that. He could have gone, oh, Maddison, you're the best. That's okay. It's unacceptable. He goes, no, you have to be banned. You have to be banned for this game. Get the under 23s on. They deserve it more than you. You've broke the rules. This is what you get the punishment. And that's my point as well. Where Brendan Rodgers, again, in Brendan we trust. So we do trust in Brendan. And again, does that make sense, Alex? That he's come down and he's gone, right, we need to punish this. And the team's gone, oh, and that might have played into it. However, it's still not an excuse. But give it a couple of days' time and we'll see what happens.
No, I completely agree with you on that because these things could easily be swept under the rug.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. Whereas, Rodgers doesn't take any of this crap. I'm trying to use the correct term right now on a podcast, but, Rodgers isn't going to put up with this. He really isn't, and, you could have the best players on the squad, and I would say Maddison is one of the best players on the squad. But you know what? He disregarded the rules and regulations that not only the Premier League, but what Leicester City have put in for, COVID-19. And they've disregarded it. And instead of just sweeping it under the rug, Rodgers has been like, you know what? Yeah, you're not playing today. And you guys are going to feel the wrath of not only the team, but also the entire fan base.
And the country. And it's going to turn on you and go, look, the NHS and stuff is what the National Health Service here is trying to do their best. We're all trying to do our part. I know it's been hard for you guys, but it's been hard for us as well. And there's people in a lot less fortunate positions than you are. However, I just want to end on a couple of things. It's now been officially shared by the BBC as well, because again, they breached COVID-19 rules. They've listed Maddison, Hamza Chowdhury, Jose Perez. No more have been, and all three will be in contention for next week's game. However, they're definitely going to have to be talked to, but at the same time, there isn't much we can do. And just to finish on Harley as when, get behind the team, support them. We are third, and again, we have been destroyed by injuries, which again, nobody has been picked. We've been speaking to other clubs, other fan channels like ourselves. They've picked up on it. The media hasn't. They've picked up on the Liverpool injuries. They've picked up on other things. They've picked up on, but when it comes to us, we get overlooked. I know every team thinks their team is overlooked, but I think even other fans are starting to justify why we are being overlooked. But anyway, before we finish, Alex, any other final points, because it's definitely been a strange one today.
Final points will be this. You know, the media has disregarded Leicester being in the top four the entire season, but they're going to pick apart the fact that we lost today and the potential of bottling, you know, the top four yet again. As a fan base, do not be a part of this. Continue to support your club, you know, and just keep being with this club, you know, through thick and thin to the very end. Secondly, let's get ready for the FA Cup this next weekend against Southampton, because I know we're all fired up because we're going to be playing at Wembley.
We're going to be at Wembley, people. That should be so good. And if you're excited for that, I mean, that's something to look forward to. We've got a whole week off to prepare against a Southampton team who are beatable, in my opinion. And we will be able to go and do something. And then we are playing them later on. So we'll see what happens. Last time we beat them 9-0. I'm not saying we're going to do the same thing again. However, let's think about when we went away last time. It's things to be positive about. Don't let other people bring you down. We're here. We're Leicester. We'll try and do our bit to support the team. But if you enjoyed the video, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Let us know what you thought in the comments down below. You can see how our bit went from negative, very negative, positive. That's just the way we do things here. So if you enjoy that, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see everybody in the next video. So thank you and goodbye.